Hey everybody, it's Tamiya Robles. I am the owner of FixMyCreditNow50.com. Welcome to Coast Podcast, where I basically talk anything and everything ever pertaining to credit, whether it's directly, indirectly, credit repair, all that stuff. But today I am going to mostly talk about business credit. Okay. So I don't want y'all to freak out when I talk about business credit. I already gave you a warning in my past episodes that I will be talking about business credit and going into 2024. We're going to encourage you guys to start your own business, start digging into business credit, learning business credit, understanding it. Okay. I don't want you guys to hear business credit and then instantly blow it off and think, this has nothing to do with me. I don't care. I can't do it. This isn't my lane, yada, yada, yada. At least consider it. If you know for a fact you just don't have any entrepreneurial skills and you have no intention on being an entrepreneur, that's cool. But this isn't for you, and that's okay. But just at least consider, because one of the beautiful things about being an entrepreneur is that you set the tone for everything. You do your own hours. You hire whoever you want to hire. If you want to hire people, you can. If you don't, you don't have to. You can be extremely creative within your own business. It's so much flexibility. And inclusive of that, you can get way more funding on the business side than you can on the personal side. For example, the personal side, they care about utilization, your credit utilization. I talk about that a lot in my videos and in my podcast. Credit utilization is major. So if you have high credit utilization, just a quick recap, and it can mess up your credit score, but that's really easy to fix. All you have to do is pay down on your credit cards or get a trade line, drop your utilization, score shoots up. On the business side, they don't care about that. They want you to spend more. They want you to overspend. As long as you're making your payments on time, aka early on the business side, then you're golden. But that's one of the benefits of being on the business side and getting business credit. So that's what I want to talk to you about. So I want to bring up some points with you guys, and I want you guys to get a better understanding. I'm not going to go too deep into every single topic because I just want you guys to just get accustomed to me talking about business credit. But one of the things about business credit is you have a lot of power with business credit. Okay. Unlike personal credit, you can get a separate entity for your business. You could get, just like on the personal side, you have a social security number. On the business side, you get an EIN number, right? An EIN number is like the social security number for your business. There's only one social security number for yourself, but you can make multiple EIN numbers, right? And therefore, with each EIN number, it allows you to get funding for each company. Unlike your personal side, you get funding based off of your social security number, just that one social security number. So you have financial freedom as far as credit is concerned. Just like the personal side, you can liquidate your credit, but it's just a larger, bigger number. Okay. So it opens up an opportunity for growth and development when you have business credit as opposed to personal credit. I'm not saying you can't obtain similar lines of credit, so to speak. But again, it's just one social security number. It's one social security number. And if that fails, a lot of people file for bankruptcy, for example. We talked about that. Well, on the business side, let's say your business fails, which is expected a lot of cases for the first 2 to 3 years. People in banks consider you to be at risk. So let's say your business goes under, you can just create another EIN number, right? If on the personal side, financially, you fail and you have to file for bankruptcy, and you guys know how I feel about that. But anyway, check out my videos on bankruptcy. I have a couple of them. But if you, let's say, file for bankruptcy, you have to wait 7 to 10 years for it to be removed from your credit report. On the business side, just get a whole new EIN number, start fresh, start all over again. All right, pretty simple. Again, I'm not going too deep into the specifics of all of this. If you guys want to know more, just definitely hit me up. You know how to do that. Repairing personal credit. So again, On the business side, they will check your personal credit, okay? But it's typically only one time. It's a one-time deal. They want to see where you stand and if you're responsible enough to be given business credit. So, again, I'm trying to get everybody to fix their personal credit as soon as possible. They already got the FICO 10 and the FICO 10T out. That could hurt people. Before all these banks and entities start using it, please get your personal credit fixed now, like yesterday. Like, run and hit my link in the description and schedule a consultation. All right. Get that personal credit fixed and repaired ASAP before everyone uses the FICO 10 and the FICO 10T, which is going to be a problem. Okay. The business side is going to check at least once to see if you are able to handle business credit. They want to see if you're responsible, if you have a history, if you are paying your bills on time, if you have any collections, charge offs, things like that, right? So, what you can do is you get your credit repaired, get the negatives removed from your credit report, overturn any missed payments, try to prevent any future missed payments, right? Make your credit as picture perfect as possible and then move on over to the business side. Okay. But they are going to check your personal credit just to see where you stand. So the cleaner the personal credit, the better. Once you're crossed over, you're good to go. All you have to do is start applying for business credit, credit cards, getting loans, and all that stuff. But make sure it's straight first. Now, I do have some clients that have issues with their personal credit and they already have established business credit, but what you'll notice is, or what they notice is, they can't get a huge number, a line of credit like they want. For example, they might want to purchase trucks. A lot of my clients want to purchase trucks and they're in the trucking business. Those trucks are mad expensive. And just having 60,000 will barely cover a used truck. I mean, I'm not in the trucking business like that, but from what I'm learning, they're extremely expensive. So they'll need 100, 200, 300, $400,000. Okay. Not saying you can't get that on the personal side, but you can get that easier on the business side because it's a business. They understand your industry. They already know with a business, you have to pay employees, you have to pay for equipment. Vehicle is deemed an equipment, right? A piece of equipment. So it's harder to get that huge dollar amount on the personal side. But before they give that to you or consider it, they're going to check your personal credit. Okay. The cleaner your personal credit is, the higher credit limit they'll give you. So my clients that I'm working on their credit that already have business credit, they know they can't get that threshold or to that threshold that they're trying to because they know they have messed up credit and that's why they hired me. All right. So keep that in mind. The funding is amazing. The funding is amazing. I've done videos so far where I interviewed my fintech company. So if you don't know, I am partnered with several fintech companies. The main one that I have had the longest relationship with is a company called True Finco. So True Finco is basically your alternative to the standard bank. So the fintech companies kind of came out during the pandemic, a little after the pandemic, around that time. And because a lot of banks were rejecting people around that time. So fintech companies were approving people when the larger banks weren't, in a nutshell, right? So I partnered with True Finco, and they offer a lot of options for people. They offer SBA loans, they offer lines of credit, they offer personal lines of credit as well, so they can help personal with your personal and with your business. Okay. They also offer equipment loans. Like I have a whole checklist, right? So again, you have the flexibility, more options when you have business credit as opposed to personal credit. And again, if for whatever reason you have any mistakes or errors or your business goes under or is struggling, it's not going to record the same like it would on your personal side for personal reasons. Most entrepreneurs when they start off, they usually are using their own money. They're using coming out of pocket to fund their business. And some people say to me, like, that's no problem. I got it. My business. Nobody's challenging whether or not you have it. The issue is you want to use other people's money, and this is how you do it. You want to use the bank's money. You want to use uh lines of credit, loans, things like that, because there's ways you can, and we will get into this in the future, and I do teach my clients this, where you can get a loan and then you pay it off. You don't have to worry about the interest. There's ways to go about it. Again, due to the flexibility of having business credit, you can you have way more options, and you can do more things as far as paying your credit back, asking for more lines of credit. The banks love to see that you're overspending, and when they see that, they're going to throw more money at you and more money at you. Now, obviously, you just don't take the money and ball out with it, you know what I mean? But you want to be responsible for it, which is why they do check your personal credit to see if you're responsible. So if you're irresponsible and you're showing irresponsibility, no, you're not going to get approved for business. Okay. So for business credit, I should say. All right. So that's something super cool that you want to consider. Now, just like I talk about trade lines, I'm going to do more videos on trade lines because it looks like a lot of y'all are interested in personal trade lines. But what about business trade lines? What about professional trade lines? So those lines of credit, again, it's amazing. One of the things that lenders look for on the business side when they're checking your personal credit is they want to see if you have already been approved for a line of credit, and if so, how much, and how long have you had that credit for, right? So that means age, that means credit limit, and the type of credit too. So that's pretty important. So let me recap. Let me give you an experience of what it was like during the pandemic. So during the pandemic, even prior to let me say prior to the pandemic, going into the pandemic, because there was a drastic change during that time. Before, if you were an entrepreneur and you wanted to get business credit, what you would have to do is you would go into a big bank, because the fintechs weren't out and popping then, right? So you would go to a big bank, they would check your personal credit and see if you already had lines of credit. Did you already have a $50,000 credit card? If did you already have accounts that you were paying on time? Was it just credit cards? Do you have a ton of credit cards and not too many other accounts? So do you have a good mixture or not? These are the things that they're going to look at. Then the bank would typically loan you money based off of how much credit you already had on your personal side. Because why would they give you more? They don't know you like that. They don't know you. So if it looks like you have a total of maybe 60,000 a personal credit, more than likely that bank is going to extend $60,000 worth of credit to you for the time being. And we can get into that in another time, but it can grow, after time if you pay on time. But that's how things were then. Okay. And you had to provide certain documentation, certain paperwork. That was pretty much it. Now, when the pandemic hit, a lot of people were losing their jobs, as we know. You might have been one of them. They were losing their jobs, and a lot of entrepreneurs came out of the pandemic, which is pretty cool. Like, it's commendable. Maybe it was the push and the drive that a lot of people needed. And with that, many people were making more money as an entrepreneur than they were working for someone, making way more money. I know I'm working with a client now who left his business during his company, the company he was working for during the pandemic. And he left them and started his own business. And this dude is practically a millionaire. Okay. That's a short time. It's not like the pandemic was a long time ago, right? But now, what you're moving forward, what you can do now with the banks is since the pandemic, the banks are basically saying, we don't trust what you're doing. We don't trust that you're a new bank. I mean, a new company. We don't really trust you enough to give you a loan. You don't have enough credit cards. Yes, I see your car. Yes, I see you're paying phone bills and everything like that. But these aren't really high limits. right? So I'm not going to approve you because you don't have enough or many trade lines available to you. So what people were doing back then is they would buy trade lines. And a little side note, I do sell trade lines. Okay. If you want to know what trade lines are, check out my past podcast, check me out on YouTube. I literally break down the benefits of trade lines and how they work and so on and so forth. But anyway, so what people were doing, they would buy trade lines and which is basically becoming an authorized user on a perfect credit card. Some have high credit limits with age, some are like well-known credit cards. I mean, whatever. It's a whole mixture, a whole plethora of options that you could choose from, and they would just stack them. And some people still practice that to this day, but the problem is that that doesn't work as much anymore. All right. After the pandemic, the banks, the big banks, I'm not talking about the fintech company, the big banks are like, what do you have on your credit? How much credit do you have? Where does it come from? Do you have a mixture or not? How long have you had the credit? Da, da, da. What's the limit? But they're seeing a ton of authorized users. And before that would have been okay. Before the pandemic, that would have been okay. During the pandemic, that might have been okay. But people got hip to the game. So many entrepreneurs got hip to the fact that, oh, I could just get on a whole bunch of trade lines and get these huge lines of credit that I don't really have access to and get all of this age that I don't really have because I'm only an authorized user, right? All right, cool. Yeah, I'm an authorized user. I'm not the primary, but it's showing on my credit report that I have all of this. So I should be able to walk into a bank and say, look, I have $180,000 worth of credit. Don't look at the fact that I'm an authorized user. I need you to give me $180,000 worth of credit on my business side. Banks are going to say no. Hell to the nizzle because they're getting hit to that. That's what worked before. Okay. It works to a certain degree depending on who you're dealing with, depending on what type of banks. If you're dealing with a subprime lender, they really don't care because they're going to just give you a high interest rate either way, right? All right, cool. So, do you want a subprime below standard loan? No. Okay, you want quality. Even if you're new, even if you're just starting, you want quality to the best of your ability. All right, cool. So, what they accepted then is not necessarily what the banks are accepting now. Even the fintech companies, before they would accept it, now they're not accepting it. The rules are getting tighter, people. The rules are getting tighter, but it's still very easy to get the loans. What you can do is be your own primary account holder on your business side, but you're like, well, if I just started, how can I do that? Nobody's going to accept me. Nobody's going to approve me because I'm new. Very, very simple, right? So look at boom. If you have a car or multiple cars on your personal side, have your company buy that car from you, from yourself, right? It's not hard to do. I don't know the specific details on how it's done, but what you can do is contact your lender and the dealership, I do believe, can assist you as well. And you just have your company pay off the debt with the other company. So basically, you're moving the loan, or the loan and the title is being transferred from you to your business side. Once you have that, boom, that is a primary trade line right there. Okay. For a new business, keep it in mind, new business. Now, your cell phone bill, you have, let's say, T-Mobile, AT&T. I don't even know what's out there like that. I'm saying AT&T and T-Mobile. I might mess around. It was a cellular wireless. I don't know about cricket, y'all. I don't know about cricket. I don't know how that works. But I'm mostly referring to the bigger names, the ones that we are aware of, the Verizons, the T-Mobile, AT&T, so on and so forth, right? Whatever's out there. Um, if you've been paying it all this time, that is a primary trade line that's on your personal side. Get that transferred over to the business side. So now you have two major accounts where you're the primary account holder. Okay. Which is a good thing because you're showing history, you're showing responsibility, you're showing that you're making on time payments, and you're the primary. You're not just an account holder, authorized user. All right. So you want to do that. Again, I don't work for these phone companies. I don't know the step by step. I've done this before. You guys can do it. It's not hard. So, what I recommend is to go to your cell phone carrier, let them know, hey, I want my business to absorb this loan. This is what needs to be, this is the name of the company. I think all you need to do is bring your, and this goes with the car loan too. You just have to show proof that you own the company and give your paperwork. They'll tell you exactly step by step what you need to do. So now you moved your phone over. All right, what else can you move over? What else do you own on the personal side that you can move over to the business side, right? Anything for the most part, even your home. Your home, that's a line of credit. That's a trade line within itself. And it's a huge, huge loan, right? So think about it. If your car is 30,000 and your house is 350,000, you see how you've already given yourself a whole huge heaping line of credit on your business side. Yeah, this is what you want to do. This is the flexibility of, well, why do I want to do this, Tamaya? What happens to my personal credit and what happens to my business credit? Well, the thing is you want to go from personal to business. You want to live your life from personal to business. You want the freedoms that the business credit has to offer that doesn't exist on the personal side. Okay. You want everything cleaned up and removed and scooting on over to the business side so you and your family can function. You want to move your house over if you could know how to do that, contact the lender. Again, I don't know all the steps, but it's just one business taking over another loan. Speak to a mortgage broker. Okay, there's plenty in my Facebook group. I know some personally. I've said all this stuff. I've talked to y'all so many times about this. I have a Google map. You can get on the map, check out the links. Everything's right there. Okay. What is it? Your phone bill, your utilities for your home, especially if you work from home. Okay. That falls under your business anyway. So why are you personally, as far as your personal credit is concerned, why are you paying for it? Why is it under your personal name? Exactly. Put it under your business. So just think of all these things. When you purchase things on your own with your credit card, get your credit card under your name. Like, be creative, y'all. This is the fun part of being an entrepreneur. So basically, when you start a new business and you're getting no's, and your no's are because you don't have lines of credit, give yourself lines of credit on your own. Okay. Make sure it's reporting on your business credit. Make sure that everything is together, it's reporting properly. Usually, you want to give these entities about 30 days before they start reporting, but you want to go behind them and make sure they are reporting. And then once they're reporting on your business side, on your business credit, then you want to apply or reapply for credit lines of credit on your own. So everybody that told you no because they didn't trust you, they didn't see any credit, they're like, you're too new, blah, blah, blah. Now you can say, listen, I have over $200,000-300,000 plus transferred over. You don't have to say transfer. Like, I have it now. Please give me the money that I'm asking for. That's how it works. That's the freedom of, okay, one of the many freedoms of having business credit, which makes it super cool. Now, so moving your personal debt over to your business debt is super cool. But another thing is you have flexible spending. I want to talk about that very briefly. So, business credit gives you more flexibility when you're purchasing because, again, you are running a company and the banks are aware of that. This is not you just taking care of yourself. You're taking care of employees. You're taking care of equipment and utilities and travel expenses and all of that. So when you are on the business side, these are considered lines of credit and personal investments within the company. These are also deemed as tax write-offs, okay? Because again, you need these things to run a business. Even your food, you need to run it, you need to eat, right? Just like you have lunch breaks and things like that. You got that on your business side. You got to provide food for you, maybe your workers, your whomever. Transportation, you got to get from point A to point B. So your gas, tax write off. These are all the things that you can push off on the business side, okay? Which again will be encouraging when you're trying to get personal credit, all right? Or business credit. My apologies. All right. So these are just some tips. Again, I said I wasn't going to go too deep into it. And every time I say I'm not going to get too deep, that's exactly what happens. So I apologize for that. But yeah, just consider that one of the things you want to, I guess the major things to consider. I'm trying to like reel you in. That's why I'm saying business credit, business credit. This is the fun side. But realistically, I do understand that you need to first start off with having a business. So we can get into that. I will do some more podcasts and videos talking about that. Maybe I'll go live and talk to a few of y'all and at the same time, and you guys can tell me some ideas and some concerns that you may have. But don't let fear get in the way. Don't let doubt get in the way. When I first started, and I'll tell you guys all the stories, all the stories, right? It was rocky in the beginning. Like I started off like, let I helped myself, let me help others. And I thought it would just be so simple. Like everybody wants help, everybody needs credit help, no big deal, right? But then I didn't really know about the business side because I never ran a business before. Well, I kind of did, but not really. I mean, we get into that too, but whole other story. But like, I just from this perspective, like this is the one business that I have had that took off, that became lucrative, where I'm helping a lot of people, a whole lot of people. Um, but in my head, I just didn't think about taxes in the beginning. I didn't think about or wasn't aware of how to report things. I wasn't worried about business credit, none of that stuff, right? I was just like, yeah, I'm smart. I got a gift. I'm talented, whatever. I can help a lot of people. I can help so many people. And then my brain stopped right there. Okay. Don't let that stop you. All right. Still jump in with both feet and then we'll help you from there. It's really simple. Honest to God, it's about organization. Like, you can have any sort of business you want. You could be a professional light flicker. Okay. You can be whatever you want. I mean, it's just so many options, and it's weird because like you can't be whatever you want per se on your personal side. Like if you look at your personal credit, it follows you for the rest of your life. From the time like your first job might have been KFC, that's on your credit report. I'm saying, like now you've elevated to like CEO of a company, that's on your credit report. Now you're with another company, that's on your credit report, right? And when lenders look at your history, they're going to see all these different jobs and they're going to see all of these different backgrounds that you've jumped into, and you seem a little unstable. You know what I mean? Like you can't have that same freedom. You won't get that same freedom on the personal side like you get on the business side. You understand? Like I can have a business, or one of my businesses credit repair, and I actually do have multiple businesses. So one might be credit repair, the other might be like a land investment company, which I actually have. Okay. The other might be like you can be all these things and it's no judgment, and you can still get business credit. You can still get funded. You understand what I'm saying? And now you know how to navigate. You don't have that freedom on the personal side. You're stuck. You're judged. Look at the FICO 10T. Like I told you, you're judged. Like there's none of that on the business side, y'all. There's none of it. Okay. So I'm going to wrap this up because I feel myself getting a little passionate. I feel myself getting a little passionate about this. But we're going to talk more about it, is the whole point. That is the purpose of me talking to y'all right now. We're going to get more in detail about it. We're going to talk specifics. I want to hear about y'all and y'all personal experiences. I will tell you about the experiences that my clients are having so far, just so you know. And again, I don't want y'all to feel alone, like you're the only ones out here in these streets dealing with it. That ain't the case. Like, it's not the case. The biggest problem is starting. And sometimes the biggest problem can be yourself. The problem can be you doubt yourself, or you're not feeling inspired. You don't know where to start, so on and so forth. Once you get past that and you could just jump in, you're good. You're good. You're going to learn through trial and error. That's with anything. Okay. Don't say you're too old. Don't think you're too young. Just jump in feet first and do what you got to do. It's great if you have a support system. Not everybody has a support system. I don't have a support system, right? Aside from the people I have to hire, but some people have large families that can help, or just family, period, that can give you inspiration. Some people don't. Some people are introverts and some people aren't, so on and so forth. So all you got to do is start, people. Just start. All right. But the key is business credit. We're going to talk more about that in the future. If you guys have any questions or concerns, please do not forget. You can leave a comment. You can reach me. My email information, other contact information is in the description. Hit me up. Don't forget, I am on the airways now. Okay, check out my podcast. I am on Spotify, iHeartRadio. I'm on, what is it, Apple. That's coming in very soon. I think another week, because it takes about 2 weeks. Check me out on YouTube. Check me out on Facebook. Everything is in the description. But I have 5 Facebook pages now. So Credit and First Time Home Buyers Plug is the main Facebook group I'm in. Definitely check me out. Be sure to comment when you're hitting me up. Like, comment. I do respond. That's not a bot. That's me responding, yo. All right. Be sure to subscribe, especially on the social media platform. If you hear me on the airways, be sure to download and share and all that. Like, I'm going to try to give y'all so much content. If you have any suggestions on topics you want to hear more of, let me know. But for the most part, I could tell, I'm looking at the analytics and I see that you guys really like it when I talk about my personal stories. You like it when I talk about trade lines, and you talk like when I talk about like more personable stuff. But when I talk about trade lines, bankruptcies and divorce for some reason. So I got y'all on that too, but I still need you guys to move on over to the business side. But in the meantime, I'm gonna get off this thing. It's great talking to y'all. I wish you the best of luck on your credit journey. You guys have a good one. Bye bye.